Welcome to the OVAReact Podcast.
In a society that tries to put women in a box.
Let's overreact. This is your girl, Momo Hoya.
And this is your girl, Lash Angela.
And it's your girl, Angela Wamboy.
And we have an amazing guest. You want to just say who you are?
Teresa Njoroge.
Woo! And we're so excited to be back.
Yes, perhaps you have been overreacting with us since we came back. And we said this is not just your usual comeback. It's a revolution. We are telling stories of women and who are changing, spaces, who are changing the narrative and the status quo. You might have caught Teresa Njoroge from Elite Women. We hosted the amazing co-founder of Elite Women. She is going to be hosting us this weekend, and Lash is going to be one of the moderators for her event called Graceful Transitions, where we got to talk about different phases of womanhood and what that looks like, and in terms of like the resources, the spaces we can create to thrive as we transition. So, ladies, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling as colorful as I look.
The sunshine.
Yes, I'm bringing the glow.
Nice.
And I'm bringing the love.
Hey.
Have to bring the
February
hearts
is
in the
far
room.
gone, but it's good to continue with with the season of love.
Yes.
I'm bringing old money's aesthetics.
Always on the wealthy money
What you
tip.
feeling?
Reflective, a space of calmness. We've just wrapped up Q1, and so what's next?
Yeah.
As we zero into close towards media. So reflective.
It feels wild.
Girl,
Oh my god! Where is time? Where's the
Good
time
going. Yeah, we were just saying Happy New Year the other day, and now you're telling us that we're starting to plan about Q2.
Yeah, man.
But to throw it back, when we had our Hills Connect event in March, and it was all about like accelerating action. And we had, for those who hadn't attended or even don't know what I'm talking about, so Sister Speaks Global has events called Hills Connect, and we usually feature different women. And in March, we wanted to celebrate women change makers, accelerating action, and Teresa Njoroge was one of them. So I'm really happy because we've been wanting to have you here on the podcast. So I want to give you this opportunity to maybe, for those who don't know who you are, and if you don't know who she is, you're living under a rock.
Powerhouse.
Tell us who you are, and also your journey about Clean Start Africa. So you're the CEO and founder of Clean Start Africa.
Indeed. Thank you so very much for having me. It was such an incredible event with Sister Speaks Global. I loved how you were intentional with setting the tone and pace for International Women's Month. Like we kicked off International Women's Month with such a phenomenal event where we had incredible speakers and women gathered around, and it was just phenomenal conversations. And I feel like I got my spark during that event, and I've been on the go since that particular event. So keep up the amazing work that you do. I'm Teresa Njoroge, founder, CEO, Clean Start Africa. It's an organization that works to empower women, girls, and children who have been justice impacted. And we go around correctional institutions in the country, empowering these women, girls, and children. That's where we begin our journey. But most importantly, we continue journeying with them post-incarceration to support them to rebuild their lives and continue thriving in society. But while that is one arm of what we do, we're also very keen on systemic change. And reason being, 70% of these women, girls, and children are behind bars due to poverty-related cases. So it's very heartbreaking to know that we have criminalized poverty, because poverty should not be the reason why someone is ending up behind bars, because poverty is not a crime.
Yes.
But
It's a circumstance.
It's the circumstance. It's a social economic circumstance. So they're trying to fend for themselves, and especially the children, so innocent, not their crime, yet their sentence. We truly need to be a little bit more sensitive, and therefore Clean Start advocates for deletion of laws in our Petty Offences Act within our penal code. And it's just incredible to see them rebuild their lives and continue taking good care of their families or continue thriving within society, and to see progress when it comes to relooking at the laws in Kenya. Yeah.
Such an important work you're doing in a world where the face of poverty looks like women bear the face of poverty. And of course, looking at what you're doing, I think it's such a powerful platform to speak on, what that does to give women second chances.
Thank you.
Your flowers.
Yeah, thank you.
You got your flower on. Yes.
Yes. And thank you for amplifying them, because they remain invisible and they've been silenced. So it's not any other typical day you'll wake up thinking about children in prisons or a woman behind bars, So thank you for bringing them to the light and amplifying.
Yeah. It would be awesome one day to actually have one of your women you've helped. And so we'll reach out
That
to
would
you
be
to do that,
fantastic.
because that would be a really nice story to tell as well.
Firsthand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to say about the irony of, the African woman is supposed to be, is seen, or rather portrayed to be this, woman of strength who is hardworking, and also reflecting if the price of hard work is, the price of success is hard work, every African woman will be successful.
Yeah.
Yet
God,
that's
pay
not
me
the case.
pay me my money, hard work.
Yeah.
It's true. It's very true.
But thank you for changing the conversation and doing what you're doing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's a privilege.
For those that may not know your journey, in a nutshell, how can you give the compounded version of it? And basically, because that is your inspiration behind your organization.
Yeah. Indeed, this work was inspired by my own first-hand experience when I had a false arrest due to handling a transaction at the bank where I worked. And when I was asked to pay bribes, I think when you know your values, it's very easy to make a decision. It was a no. I wasn't going to pay the bribe. And so we continued with a malicious prosecution for close to almost 3 years. And I was asked again to pay bribes. And again, I said no. But the stakes were really high at that particular point, because I had just been blessed with my firstborn daughter, Oma, which in my dialect means truth. Because that's what I was praying for so much as I was being blessed with her. And I honestly thought I'd get justice in the courts, in our courts, in our criminal justice system. But I ended up being wrongfully sentenced to serve a 1-year sentence behind bars. And I served that entire 1-year sentence accompanied by my 3-month-old daughter. So it was very difficult going into prison and knowing too well that I hadn't committed these crimes, and knowing that I had been convicted for doing the right thing. It didn't make sense.
Wait a minute. You were 3 months postpartum?
Yes. Yeah.
That's so
With
heavy.
my firstborn.
Wow.
Yeah.
And if I'm not wrong, you can go to prison with your child up to 5 years, right? And then the law can take all a family member.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah. They've lowered it to 4 years now.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because of the impact that the environment behind bars has on the children. Actually, at the time I was serving my sentence a decade ago, mothers could stay with their children up to 7 years.
Wow.
But the impact of that environment on the children, irreversible.
That's so heavy.
That is heavy. And actually, to speak more about the environment, so Teresa has a TED Talk that you can watch where she really articulates her story. And the part that stuck with me, which I was saying off air, is the reality when the doors shut, and she no longer became Teresa Njoroge, but 415/11. That led me to reflect on a lot, even just myself, even if you can think of yourselves, girls, like that element of just, it's honestly like going into a cave and the cave is shut down and you're in a season of darkness. We had you before in our previous event where you really talked about the environment. I guess describe on what that experience was in terms for people to understand why they're changing from 7 to 5 to 4. But how have you dealt emotionally? I know it's been 10 years and probably you're in a much different place emotionally, but there are people who have a version of prison. Yeah. It might not be prison per se, where they have been there's a lot going on in the weight of their shoulders. A lot of the women you said are people who were on the right side of the law, where they were being victims of domestic violence, but in the case of defending themselves, unfortunately, the person who was their perpetrator ends up dying, and they find themselves in those situations. So you're definitely a beacon of light for people who have found themselves in that situation and are trying to navigate out of it. So just like take us through about that particular environment and how what have you done to get yourself here, sitting with us? You know, most people would hide away.
Yeah, indeed. Prison is, there's no luxury at all. And especially prisons in the African context here in Kenya. And I'd also like to highlight the fact that a lot of our correctional institutions were built by our colonizers. These were the places where they held the men who resisted colonial rule. Oh, wow. As the colonizers tried to subjugate the locals so that they could take their land and take over what belonged to us. Now, prisons were never built for women because the women were left at home caring for the families while men went to fight. And the ones that were arrested were the ones then who were taken to prison. So unfortunately, 6 years post-independence plus, we still have the same infrastructure that the colonizers left. And those are the same structures that the women get to use. So you can imagine how worse off it is for children. Wow. And we're talking about from the moment you get arrested and you go into a police cell. It's not like you will find this particular police cell is specifically built to cater for women and women needs. Yes. And that journey begins from that moment throughout the judiciary as you go through your prosecution and your case all the way to prison. And if it's not just the infrastructure where we actually have a women prison, it's normally a wing, an afterthought that has been added to the main men prison. So right from the infrastructure to who's in charge, it's very intimidating for women. Most likely the person who arrested you is a male officer. That was my case. Most often the prosecutor will be a man. The judge will be a man. And then the people escorting you in the Kenya prison bus as you go to prison, they've got guns. So it's very intimidating. It's a very intimidating setup for women. But having said that, the prison setup itself, other than the shame, because it's a very criminalized space and the kind of rehabilitation that happens is very punitive. Unfortunately, it's still that style that the colonizer had. So, for example, if I want to take a count and the count happens like 7 to 10 times a day, you've got to squat. It's very demeaning. There are no plates, no spoons, to the kind of food itself that you're taking. And all this, nothing has been put into account the children accompanying the mothers. So to lack of essentials, i.e. running water, toilets, and, the things that give you dignity and esteem. It's one thing that your freedom is gone. It's another, the kind of an environment, the language, the food. Like, it's literally built to break you.
Wow.
Yeah. And as you said, very unfortunate that a lot of these people, and it's not a number we're guessing. We have done research, so we've got the data, and other organizations have done research as well. 70% of those incarcerated are in due to poverty-related cases. They are not criminals. And I bet even the 30% that's behind bars, they are in as victims, sexual gender-based violence, things we never think about. And other than the humiliation and the dignity that it takes away from you and your children, and I say children because while you might have gone in with 1 or 2 children, 90% of the women behind bars are mothers, sole caregivers. 90%.
Yeah. And they may be even young.
Exactly. Yes. They're between, so their children are between 1 to 10 years. 65% of the children of these mothers are between the ages of 1 to 10. And that's the time these children really need their mom.
Formative years,
and mom is being separated from these children. Why? Because she was hawking, because she was loitering, basically because she's poor, and because we still have colonial laws that criminalize loitering. That criminalize hooking, like things that
they're just trying to survive.
Like it doesn't make sense. Like if you look at the budget of what the country is using towards incarcerating these poor women, I always ask myself, why can't we take the very same budget and invest in these women? It doesn't take much. Just get capital, get them into groups, get them decent means of livelihood. We can do it. But what do we choose? The easy way out. Why? They are poor.
That's wow.
Just giving me goosebumps.
I am moved. Obviously, the society castigates women. You know, how can you be on the wrong? How can you steal? It's unladylike. How did you build the mental toughness and the strength that you have? One day your identity is taken and you're a number. Then the second, justice works and you're on the other side, and you're supposed to face the world. So I'm sure it took a toll on you, on your mental, strength. How did you rebuild yourself past the identity that the crime gave you?
It's so unfortunate that women, you come into this world, you've got all these plans and dreams and ambitions and barriers that have been put along the way, literally just because you're a woman, that you have to overcome. And sitting in prison, thinking to myself, my goodness, all the plans and ambitions that I had when I was in the financial sector. And here I am, my identity literally is now a number, a prison number, 415/11. Wow. And you start questioning yourself, like, really? So many questions. You doubt yourself. Even your very identity is put to the test. And, I thought prison was tough. Coming out, I found this tag that society already had for me, ex-con. So everywhere I went, this is the ex-con. And that puts not the physical bars, but secondary bars that follow you like a shadow. They're pointing at you. You can't get a job. No one trusts you. No one even wants to know how you ended up there.
Wow.
It was so difficult to a point where I was so depressed.
Gosh.
So depressed. Were it not for my family, I wouldn't have been able to overcome the depression. But my family was so supportive because when people love on you, understand and empathize with what you're going through, you might not have been through the situation, but you're empathizing. It helps you to rebuild. But you see, it was the experience of finding support that made me empathize more with the women that I had met. Because day one of leaving prison, no one's waiting for you at the gate. You do not even have transport to leave the prison to get to the city. You have absolutely nothing.
No one.
No house, no food, no clothing. So the first question is, where do you even begin to look for your children? Where do you begin in life? Where do you begin? And
especially if they've been taken by the state?
Yeah. Wow. And by the time you reunite with your children are so traumatized, so angry. Mom, where did you go? No goodbye. You haven't been in touch. Do you know what we've been through? They don't even want to see you.
Wow.
And you're reuniting with them, you don't even have anywhere to take them. And the society, no one wants to come anywhere near you. So you're being pushed farther and farther and farther away, not because you're a criminal, but because of your social economic status. And the system is even making it worse. The very system that's meant to offer support for you to build yourself up. So difficult as it was for me to rebuild, at least I had family support.
Okay.
And then the empathy for the millions, because I think the percentage is at 12.5 million Kenyans live below the poverty line.
That's crazy.
Wow.
That's under $1 a day, right?
It's about 5,000 Kenya shillings per month in the rural setting, and it's 8,000 Kenya shillings a month in the urban setting. And the women we work with earn between $1 to $3 a day at the point of arrest.
Wow, that is so mind-blowing to actually hear it in numbers and you personifying what these women are going through, what they're earning, and how they're just trying. Yeah. But we're punishing them just for trying, just for surviving. We just got to take a breath. That was a lot. So just taking it back during our women's brunch, our Women's Day brunch, you were very open and honest about the biases that you believe found you in prison. If you could rewind and go back to 2009 and see the younger version of Teresa, you've just been arrested. You're fighting for your life. You're fighting for your reputation. Someone has tried to bribe you, you know. And through it all, with all the odds against you, finally, you do get out of prison, but you still have to navigate life, and there's so many challenges. If you could look back at the 2009 version of yourself, what would you tell her?
To look at people, wherever it is that I meet them, from where I'm meeting them at, and not meet them with a preconceived bias and lens. And the reason why I say that is because when I met the women in prison, I was too harsh on them and myself. I didn't want them anywhere near me or my daughter. And that's because I had already preconceived, I had this bias lens that I wore coming into prison that these are criminals. These are the lazy women who don't work hard. And that's why they are in prison. Only to come and find out later that the statistics that I keep reading about, people who live below the poverty line, are people. It's not a statistic.
It's a reality.
These are people. And
you know them.
And I know them. And I also used to think that the reason why they are hawking or they're begging or they're loitering, looking for opportunities, is because they're not working hard. I honestly did not think there's something like not having access to opportunities. Like literally, you do not have access to a job. You do not have access to continue with your higher learning education opportunities. You don't have access to that. Sometimes when we've got privilege in the sense that, you know, you come from a family where you were provided for, well educated, you've found work, your dreams are coming true. Sometimes you get a bias of thinking that it's them versus us. That the only difference between we and them is the access to opportunities.
Yeah.
That's the only difference. So what I would say to Teresa 2009...
You can talk to her like she's there.
Yes. Remove the bias lens when you're looking at people. And then also, in 2009, I didn't think I would overcome the barriers that I was up against. You do not know how strong you are until you get to handle these obstacles. So what I'd say to women and younger Teresas out there, transitions, disruptions, these things are very disorienting because they come in the way of the plans that we have made. But what I would say is that I've come to learn now a decade plus post my transitions and my detours, there's actually magic. Just swing with the waves and learn how to make magic out of them. Because when I look at what we have done and achieved with Clean Start now, I wish in 2009 I was like, you know what, we're going to dance with these waves and make magic out of them. So you will get out of it, navigate it.
Amazing. So you came out of, the prison, right? And we are, sometimes we have to overcome the prison of the mind. And I think it's, something that...
Okay, girl. Okay.
I've lost my time.
Sorry.
Yeah, like some of us, because of, how we've been brought up, we live in like some sort of a prison. And I believe when you say, past the gate, you're on your own. When that gate, and the lock clinks, you're on your own. How are you unlocking the prison of the mind for me, thousands and hundreds of women that you impact with the work that you do?
Wow, you hit it right on the head. Yeah. It's all in our mind. Yeah. That's where everything is at. I can't remember who said, and I might not give him justice, he said that when you're able to control and manage actions, when you're able to be strongly in charge of your actions and what you say, how you react to what happens to you, then you're able to manage life. Mm-hmm. And the only reason why you'll be able to manage what you say and how you react to what happens to you is because you're in charge of your mind, what's happening in there. Mm-hmm. So things will come at you in life. The detours, the transitions, the, interruptions, things will come at you. But how are you strengthening your mind muscle to handle whatever comes your way? Because it's how you act and react towards what has happened that determines the difference between one and the other. Mm-hmm. And I say that because I've seen so many women, men as well, literally leave prison and commit suicide. Literally.
There's no hope. Yeah.
Why? The sweetness of death was much better than the thought of overcoming the obstacle and leaving. So it's all in the mind and what you say to yourself, how you react to it, what you say. Yeah. So we need to keep training our mind to handle these things that come to us in life.
As we come to a close, I wish we could speak to you longer, and we would definitely need to have you again in Hills Connect and just have you so that we can just unpack everything. Yeah. And this can be for everybody, using what Mo has mentioned about unlocking the mind. What is your 30-second trick in terms of when you're feeling like you're back as 4:15/11? Mm-hmm. How do you switch from that moment to be like, girl, I can do this?
It's just the calmness.
Okay.
Just breathe in and out. If possible, take a glass of water. Because it's those quick few minutes when whatever it is has happened that determines the decision you make at that particular time, that determines which way you go and whether it will be a success or not. Try as much as possible, especially during that moment, to be as calm as possible. Why? It's in calmness that you're able to see things clearly and make the best decisions. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm.
Wow. You need your own podcast, love.
Yes. Too many lessons and nuggets to unpack. Oh, man.
Oh, my God. Wow. Yes. When you were saying, I think my motto is when I am feeling trapped, is it's my favorite. It's by Henry Havelock Ellis, who was an American author, I think. And he says, all the art of living lies in the fine mingling of learning when to let go and when to hold on. Right. And so a lot of us let go while holding on. And you need to make room. And sometimes you need to hold on because you need to build that muscle and get strong. So you need to learn
That's a very powerful
when's time. So
and you need to let go a lot.
yes.
To make room for the next level.
Exactly. And we can't wait to see who you'll be in 10 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Congratulations on what you're achieving and the spaces that you're creating for other women with a similar story to you.
With pleasure. Thank you for having me.
It's been a
You.
pleasure.
And we hope in the future we'll be able to interview or even have the privilege of one of your beneficiaries.
Indeed.
Just to see, the real testimony of what you're doing.
That will be
And
fantastic.
cleanse that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep
Would love
radiating the
that.
light you're radiating and being a light to the world.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
We're so happy to celebrate you and celebrate your achievements. And there's one thing that you also said during our brunch, which was you have to feel it to heal it. And I think that resonated with a lot of people.
The only
You
way.
need to trademark it.
Right?
Because we are at this point. Yeah.
And I thought that was just really, really powerful, being able to feel everything and understand why you're feeling that. And I think also that becomes a catalyst for allowing you to let go.
Yeah.
So
True.
thank you for sharing
Yeah.
your journey and just being so vulnerable and open with us.
Yeah. And to your point around that, something I had a conversation with my sister and I was just checking in on her and she was telling me, I'm just removed from the outcome.
Okay, Esther.
I'm like,
we
how
see
are
you.
you feeling? How are things going? I'm just removed from the outcome. Like she
Let
doesn't
it
care.
be. Yeah.
Like, she's detached from the outcome because she doesn't have the control. Yeah. And I love that.
I love that.
Wow.
Wow. We have definitely been overreacting with Teresa
Yes.
over here, more so internally than us screaming and being joyful. But nonetheless, you are our star, our light.
Thank you.
And it's what I was sharing, that you do have an anointing on you, and may God give you the grace and strength that you need to keep going, because you are truly a beacon of light. And it has been a blessing to sit here and have you share your story in our platform. So thank you for honoring our invite.
For anyone who want to connect with you, how can they find you?
Yeah, so we're on all social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter as Teresa Njoroge and Clean Start Africa. Our website, www.cleanstartafrica.org. And it would be so lovely for them to either inbox us, call us. Our contacts are on there for us to see how to continue collaborating to bring the much needed change. Yeah.
Lovely.
Amazing.
And to all of you out there watching and listening, you can catch us live each and every Wednesday on Capital FM 98.4 on the airwaves. You can also catch us on the Sister Speaks Global podcast page on Spotify and Apple. You can also catch us on the Capital FM YouTube page under OVAReact. And make sure that you follow us across all our social media platforms at Sister Speaks 254 and also Capital FM Kenya. And of course, OVAReact Podcast page on Instagram to keep up to date with everything that's happening around.
Yeah. And just to keep drumming it in, we said we're coming bigger, bolder, and better.
Yes.
It's a revolution, baby. Girls,
Yes.
let's
Overreact.